Hey folks, hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. Here we are. Figure we play some Oblivion again. The person who, quote, leaked about an Oblivion remake being made on Unreal 5 has had their account, they've deleted their accounts. I never looked at that stuff very seriously anyway. You get another leak. Oblivion remaster coming out, and you see some screenshots of, you know, something. It's probably never happening. Like, we got to be honest. At the same time, I think it's a fun game to play, and I think if they did come out with a remaster that people could just play on modern systems, then that would be great, because there's no way to, like, easily play it if you don't have a PC, right? And can play an older version on GOG or Steam or something. Or have, like, an older console, like an Xbox 360 sitting around. And even then, you're not going to get the best experience because you won't be able to run mods. So I think it'd be great if they did that, but I'm not holding my breath. And I wouldn't be super excited about it anyway, because there's always a good chance whatever mucking about they do with the original game will ruin the charm. And this indeed was the case with some of the screenshots that I already saw. Let me see if I can find one. So, is this real? I don't know. It looks cool. How about this? Does this look good? Well, this looks pretty good. But this still could be generated a whole bunch of different ways. Why are there goblins outside of Skingrad? I don't remember goblins attacking someone outside of Skingrad, which is what this is. This is the walkway up to Skingrad Castle, where the vampire lives. And here's some screenshots. Okay, so here's what it looked like in 2006. It looks remarkably good for a 20-year-old game, right? Here's what it looks like in 2025. It looks objectively worse. So in terms of fidelity, this looks better. Like, there's a reflection on the water. Like, this looks more realistic in a way, but it loses all of the whimsical style, and it's very brown. There's no green. Where's the greenery, right? A weird response someone had was like, you know, forests aren't actually that green. I'm like, I'm looking out my window at, like, a huge just wall of green things because I live in a forest. Forests are very green, with green grass if there's rain, which is what, you know, Cyrodiil has in it, right? So, anyway, I'm not super excited because the character of the original game is part of what makes it fun. And so I will be playing this with mods, including mods that change the leveling system, but because I wanted to try them out, really. But I consider the leveling system a big part of the charm of Oblivion. And I think if you were to muck about with the gameplay too much, if you try to make it like Skyrim, you think, well, Skyrim sold a few more copies. Skyrim sold a lot of copies, but, like, Skyrim has sold more copies, therefore that's the superior. That is not the superior gameplay mode, or that people want this other gameplay mode. It'd be like taking Morrowind. So I'm not excited for Skyblivion or Skywind or any of that stuff, right? I'm not excited for porting Oblivion into the Skyrim engine because the Skyrim engine is the flavor of Skyrim. It's the gameplay of Skyrim. I don't need to explore Cyrodiil with Skyrim mods on. I could explore Cyrodiil with Oblivion mods on, with Oblivion's gameplay, which is objectively better. Well, I don't know objectively. I believe it's better. The Oblivion gameplay is better. Same thing with Morrowind. I don't need to explore Morrowind in Skyrim's engine where I can run a bunch of, like, high-quality mods. That's great. It's great that you like the graphical fidelity of the game and you would like to see a higher resolution, a higher fidelity rendering of this fantasy land of Vardenfell. However, a huge part of what makes Morrowind fun is the gameplay. It's the systems that are there. It's not just the fact that it's, you know, it's a fantasy land that you can explore. The gameplay of Morrowind makes Morrowind fun. It's what makes Morrowind compelling. The way that you go through all of the dialogue lists, the user interface, the way that the map is drawn in a lot of cases with, like, the fog, you know, the fog that kind of obscures the distance. It kind of all adds up to the atmosphere of Morrowind. And I could play some Morrowind today too. I usually open MW, by the way, so you don't really need a Morrowind ported into Skyrim. And at this point, it's like, well, the Morrowind engine is 22 years old or something. Great. The Skyrim engine, however, is still like 14 years old. So it's not exactly porting it into a modern engine. We're just porting it into a less old engine. Or you could use OpenMW and run all the Morrowind mods and just use that. It's just better. It'll run on modern systems a lot better. So anyway, I thought I would talk about that. Yeah, that's why I'm not excited about it. Would I buy it? Absolutely. And the main reason I would buy it is actually to play it on PS5 because my son really likes to play Oblivion and Morrowind. And he's at an age where those games are really fun and compelling for him. And so it would mostly be a way to play it with my son, you know, and explore that with my son, rather than have him have to play it on a PC, right? He's happy to play it on my computer, and it's a cool experience, but it's easier in the living room. You know, we're working in here all the time. This is a workspace. This is not like a play space. It's a workspace where me and my wife work. So anyway, there's that. I don't think it looks bad. I think it would still be good. You guys could probably count on me to buy it and give you a fair and honest assessment of it from the perspective of a person who loves classic Oblivion. And should you get classic Oblivion, should you get remastered, if they come out with it. So you don't have to rush to buy it. I would buy it as a service to all of my friends here, and because I happen to love this game and I love gaming in general, right? So I don't think this is bad. In fact, if you could run mods, you could easily turn this. You could get rid of the piss filter and make it more lush again. This topography doesn't quite line up with this, maybe because he's actually facing slightly away. Anyway, you get the idea. So let's play some Oblivion. Enough talk. Let's play. Yeah. It's very decolored. If you could still run mods, if it's still running on the original engine, or people could mod it, then you could mod the colors or change, you know, crank up the saturation or change the tint. That full screen glow, I think, is part of the charm of the original game as well. That you find it in games like Overlord as well, original World of Warcraft. If you're playing with the original World of Warcraft engine, the 1.12 client, there's this full screen glow effect that's just very nostalgic, and I really like it. You find it on a lot of Wii games, and you find it in PS2 games even as well. It's that full screen glow, and a lot of PS3 games. I think that's part of the charm, personally.